gentlemen. How's it going today?
It's going well, Bonnie. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm almost done the series. I almost got through it. It
Okay.
is so fantastic. Matthew, I got to start with you because where does this obsession come with Satan and the occult? Do we need to be worried about you?
No, no. I don't think anyone needs to be worried about any Satanists. I think uh they're fine people. Um
They are.
no, the idea for the show came from sort of assessing where we are in the world right now, this time in society where facts and reality are kind of more malleable now than ever.
Yeah.
Um and looking at it through the lens of the satanic panic when we're afraid of things like the Smurfs programming our children to be sleeper cell Satanists and backmasking in albums that are telling you to go do terrible things and all that stuff when in reality it doesn't there's not really a threat there, but it sure felt like there was. And
Sure.
people sure thought there were. So my thought process was take what I'm feeling today and bring it back to another period that went through something like this that might be a little more fun to play in that sandbox with the heavy metal and the horror and all of those sort of elements.
Yeah, yeah, no, it really does work, and it's a lot of fun. And what I like so much about it too is it's not gory or that kind, you know what I mean? It's a more of a thriller
Yeah.
than anything because I'm not a horror girl, so I was a little nervous, but I'm loving it. And David, for you, I mean, what I also like about this is it's showing both sides. It's not just the panic of the adults and the parents and all that in society. It's also what the kids are going through.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit because I find that very interesting.
Well, that was to me, that was what drew me to the project. I was very fortunate when I got to read Matt's pilot script, and the that's when I joined the show. He had
Yeah,
already written it and already created the world. But really, what I hooked into was uh, that you have teenagers making some really bad decisions, but you also have grown-ups doing the same thing.
for sure.
And what I just think is was just so compelling about that first episode, and then that we've really tried to do in the rest of the script is the difficulty of this communication between parents and teenagers, the fear that consumes the parents about what are my kids up to, and the kids are up to some bad shit,
Yeah.
and that to me was so real and so universal and so compelling, and that fear ends up driving so much of the horror of this show. It's real horror, and it's real to all of us. It was so real to me reading it and growing up, and then as a parent, uh,
Yeah.
being scared about where my kids are and what the hell are they doing. And I think that's one of the many things about this show that I think audiences are going to connect to.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I totally agree. Matthew, I think you guys hit the jackpot with the cast in this show.
Yeah.
Everybody is so fantastic. But I mean, okay, like Julie Bowen is so wonderful. But to have Bruce Campbell on board on this show just grounds it so much. Was he when you were writing this, did you have him in mind? Like, tell me a little bit about getting him on board.
Well, I come from Michigan, so as does Bruce.
Yes.
So he and Sam Raimi were kind of my North Stars in high school and college in terms of seeing there is a path to success out here doing what you love as a Michigander who knows no one. So I would be lying if I said Chief Dandridge was written for Bruce Campbell, but I've never been a part of a project where I wasn't trying to find a way to get Bruce Campbell in it. The fact of the matter is, like he came in here and is playing a role that I think is unlike anything we've seen him do before. He
Yeah.
is not Ash Williams. He's not the goofy, like zinging one-liners kind of guy that we all
Right.
love. He is the straight man trying to hold a city together, trying to hold this small town together. And I thought seeing him do that was so cool. Just seeing that other side of this performer that we don't often get to see was
Yeah.
really refreshing, and we felt like we just hit a home run.
I agree. And David, I want you to talk about working with the teens because, like I said, they're all so good, especially the three of them who are in the heavy metal band. I'm very drawn to them. Were they easy to work with? They just seem like really great kids.
They are, and they're professionals. They're professional actors. I mean, it's an interesting thing that they're young, and you see them initially as kids, but when you're working with them, uh, they're complete pros. All three of them, in their own separate ways, brought uniqueness to each of their characters and connected to their characters, and all the kids in the show, and they're not actual kids.
No,
They're young adults, and they all had such passion for their roles, and had such seriousness about, especially the Death Crunch kids having to be a band,
yes,
and there's a history there in their performance. You feel like these kids have history. These
right.
kids are really friends, and again, we wrote it. A lot of it was in Matt's pilot script, and then we wrote the rest. But those three kids bring it to life in such
Mm,
an affecting, powerful, scary, funny way. Just so fortunate in
yeah.
in, hitting the casting jackpot with the three of them.
Yeah, it's great. Just really quickly, Matthew, I got to know if you had gone to your parents and said, I want to start a heavy metal or death band, what would they have said?
Mom would have been skeptical. I think the approach would be, can I go talk to dad about it first, get his green light, and then we'll just try to keep it from mom.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you.
I think he would have been down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But anyway, listen. I'm glad that you wrote this. I'm glad you created this series. It's fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today, gentlemen. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.